So you're raising money, and you had access to these VCs. How do you schedule all this? Like, you're going to meet 160 potential investors. You got your pitch. You're altering the pitch as you go. You have experience doing that. How do you schedule this? How do you map this out prior to launch?
Yeah, so there's a right way to do it, and then the wrong way to do it, and then the way that it actually generally happens. So the right way to do it is basically, you know who it is, right? So you basically start with, you don't tell anyone you're raising, and you start with the fund you don't want. And so you basically pitch them. And you know they're going to say no, and you're going to say yes, you're going to tell them no. But basically you're trying to figure out what story resonates with this VC crowd at this stage of financing, right? And then you'll see which ones are actually super interested, and you keep tweaking the pitch every single time. So let's say you do like 10 of those of all, like either yeses or nos, it's going to be a no from you anyway. At that point you say, okay, I know what the pitch is, I know what the story is, time for me to go out for real. And so at that point you send it out to, I would say, the 10, 15, 20 groups that you actually would be interested in having lead you around. And so you schedule that within a, call it 2 to 3 week span. So you send an email to everybody saying, the roadshow is going on for 2 to 3 weeks, that's it. Like, take it or leave it. If you're not here, I'm not going to talk to you, it doesn't matter. At that point, you do the first meeting, you have it blocked off between New York is this date, SF is that date, and that's it, right? These are the weeks I'm there. And then the second meeting comes around, that's when they meet like your co-founder or the team or something like that. And so you schedule that after that point, and you do a follow-up, and then that's when another 2 to 3 week time frame. And at that point, it's saying, hopefully somebody's willing to give you a term sheet. When you get one term sheet in, you tell everybody who's interested, I have a term sheet, you better put yours in, you have a week, otherwise I'm not talking to you. The whole concept of telling them, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, is very scary for them, and so you have to work that to your advantage. And so the more often you can say that, because you have leverage, then the better you are. And so at that point, you can negotiate and figure out which term sheet is best, pick one, and then everyone else will come in and fall in line. That's how it's supposed to go. It usually doesn't go that way, unfortunately, unless you're like, started a company or it's like a unicorn that everyone wants to deal into. The bad way to go about it is to have it drag on forever, right? So you take one meeting here, take one meeting there, take another meeting there. And so that is sort of how most first round financings go. And so you just kind of keep going on in perpetuity until enough people say yes. They're like, okay, like I can probably do something like this at this point. The middle of the road is generally like you start with the first process that I mentioned, which is the right way to do it, and you kind of get some takers, kind of don't, and then it drags on a little bit, but then it sort of shakes itself out in the end. But there is a shorter time frame. So my first round of financing took 6 months effectively. This one took 3.5-ish. So yeah, so it's progress.
So you're basically filtering through, right, to find the percentage that's interested. Then you hook someone, you get a term sheet, and then you leverage that term sheet against the other term sheets to get the better term sheet.
Yes.
And then you say, this is the term sheet. If everyone wants to join in, I'm going this.
Take it or leave it.
So you're kind of playing off of and they know that.
They know that.
They know that. It's all part of the game.
And the worst thing you can do is tell the VCs who you're talking to, because then they'll all just come together and say, you know what, let's come up with this term sheet. And that's the only one you get. So, yeah.